Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Gee, if it could just be a little more wet, a little more gloomy, we'd have a great day. But thanks for joining us today. I'm Mike Brogan. I'm Daemen College's Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this special event to launch a new Daemen campus beautification and fundraising initiative and to announce a newly established major partnership between our college and the town of Amherst. This unique partnership with our local community will be formally kicked off today with Daemen's new effort that will greatly enhance the look and feel of our campus and surrounding neighborhoods. We are truly honored to collaborate with Amherst on their town-led program. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Gary Olson, President of Daemen College.
Thank you, Dr. Brogan. We're all Buffalonians, so this is nothing for us. Anyway, welcome everybody. I want to recognize a few people. First of all, Assembly member Karen McMahon is here. Let's welcome her. Obviously, Amherst Supervisor Brian Kulpa. Also, Amherst Council member Jackie Berger. Jackie, by the way, was an adjunct professor here at Daemen some years ago in the education department, so we're glad to have her back on campus. Daemen Professor Emerita Ellen Banks of the Sierra Club Niagara group is here. You'll hear from her. And I also want to recognize the Amherst Conservation Advisory Council, the Amherst and Williamsville Environmental Alliance. These are all supporters of this project. Daemen trustees Art Wingirter and Joette Zaccanino. Let's applaud them for being here. The University of Buffalo Sikh Student Association and the Daemen Environmental Club. So let's give them all a round of applause. Anyway, as you heard, this is a joint project with Amherst and Daemen. I have to say, Supervisor Kulpa has brought a lot of great new ideas to Amherst. You read about them in the paper almost every day. This is just another one. You'll hear some details from him in a minute. I really have to applaud his work in really raising Amherst to new levels. We both share a real love of the environment and Amherst itself, and are trying to do as much as we can to make it more and more beautiful. I'm in my 7th year as president here, and we started back then a campus beautification process where we planted, within those years, 200 trees and did a number of things around campus to make the campus not only a wonderful place for students and faculty and staff, but also for all of the neighbors in this region. And in fact, we often have Amherst neighbors coming through, walking dogs, jogging, and so on. In fact, I kid one of our trustees who lives around the corner that she seems to be on campus more often than I am, although she's in jogging shorts often. Anyway, we're pleased to announce our part of the 1 million tree effort that Supervisor Kulpa will tell you about by being the first 22 trees planted of that million. Doesn't seem to be a lot, but it's a lot for us. And as you see around the corner, they're very mature trees. These are not little saplings. They're going to go on this front lawn area. In fact, in a minute, Mr. Kulpa and I and Ellen Banks will do the ceremonial shovel for the first one, which is right there. So with that being said, let me ask Dr. Brogan to come back up. Thank you.
I didn't know I was next. But it is my great pleasure to announce and to introduce Town Supervisor of Amherst, Mr. Brian Kulpa.
I'd like to thank Daemen for hosting today and for kicking off our Million Tree project. Dr. Olson, can I have a round of applause for Dr. Olson? He's done a wonderful job here on campus, expanding the campus footprint, growing the campus in our community. It's really been wonderful. We're here today with Daemen, with some of our partners in government, like the great Assemblywoman Kara McMahon, like our Amherst Conservation Advisory Committee Chairwoman Elizabeth DiAgostino, in people in the community who really have pushed us as a community to do better and be better. In a minute, I'll talk about the Sierra Club and the affinity I have for the Sierra Club. But two groups of young people who've really inspired me over the past 6 months. First, the Amherst and Williamsville Environmental Alliance, Dylan Benayak Betts, Mavity Hopkins, and Lottie Tomasillo, I think, who are here. I have to say, I knew there was going to be a student organization standing out in front of Village Hall in the library one day, and they were going to be championing climate change measures and championing the environment. And it was a wonderful turnout. A turnout I was proud to be able to support, and they pushed for a better way of life here in the town. And congratulations to all of the work you've done, and I hope you keep that going and keep that spirit up. And recently, the UB Sikh Student Association, Malika Kaur Kodial, I think I got that somewhat correct, and Jigar Sandhu. I don't know if they're here today, but man, what a great job they did at Saratoga Park, putting some trees in, getting ready for the weather and the sled hill. It's all part of a bigger umbrella project that we're here to announce today for the town of Amherst, and that's a 1 million tree campaign. 1 million trees in 5 years. I've been asked a few times over the past couple of days and weeks and months, why 1 million trees? And those questions mostly came from my staff immediately. Why 1 million trees? Wouldn't we have enough to do 100,000 trees? Couldn't we do 500,000 trees? My answer is this town has spent the better part of 5 decades taking trees down to develop roads and infrastructure and places for people to live, places for people to work. And we've been the custodian of economic change for Western New York for some time. And we've done a great job creating an economic climate here in Amherst. But it's come at a loss. It's come at a loss of trees and treed areas and treed spaces. And today we're saying, okay, we need to reverse fortune here. We're not looking to take buildings down to plant trees, but we're looking to make things better as we move forward. So we're announcing 1 million trees because we are 54 square miles, roughly 34,000 acres of land. If you think about 1 million trees, if we planted 29 trees per acre, that's 1 million trees. 29 trees per acre. So we are going to calibrate our zoning. We're going to recalibrate all of our zoning, and we're going to say we want more trees. In fact, how many trees do we want? If you're a developer, we want 29 trees per acre. And if you can't fit it, it doesn't work, it can't fit into the plan, that's great, because we're going to create an Amherst Tree Fund, and we're going to say whatever shortcomings you have, give us $200 per tree. We'll find the space. We'll plant the trees. We'll get the trees going. And we're going to do that. And if you think, hey, is that excessive? Is it excessive dollar value? It's $5,800 for 29 trees. That's what we're asking developers to think about on their per acre developments moving forward. And we're going to take it one step forward here and say, hey, we're asking the private sector to partner with us. And we're going to create this tree fund. We're going to use that tree fund to grant community organizations, block clubs, student organizations, institutions. We're going to provide grants for tree plantings. And that's what we're going to use that fund for, and that's how that fund's going to work. We're going to look to the private sector to create a tree foundation so we can see private sector match. We're going to look to New York State DEC for the future for grants to match our tree planting program. And we're going to take this to a whole different level here in town. Our new zoning calls for trees, right? If you think of an average city block, you get 7 to 8 shade trees per side, per block. Our new zoning that we're redoing with the Boulevard Mall and the Ridgely complex, it calls for city blocks. It calls for traditional traditional development patterns, and that means more trees and more green space, and that's what we're going to deliver. And over the next 5 years, with institutions like Daemen, institutions here in town, our school districts, we're going to deliver 1 million trees in 5 years' time. So thank you very much for being here today. One person I know has been supportive of this and has pushed us to, keep Amherst green. Keep Amherst is Ellen Banks in the Sierra Club. I'm going to invite her up for one moment. She didn't know I was going to put her on the spot. Maybe come on up. But the Sierra Club's been amazing, working with my office, pushing our office to do a better job. I'd like to introduce Ellen. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be back at Daemen. The Sierra Club's motto is explore, enjoy, and protect the planet. The Sierra Club Niagara Group, representing over 3,500 members and supporters in Western New York, enthusiastically supports the Town of Amherst plans to preserve and expand green space, to control sprawling development, and to move toward a more healthy and walkable community where our residents can refresh and restore in nature. We treasure our parks and our tree-lined streets, and we're eagerly looking forward to more. Besides fulfilling our original mission to preserve the wild places on Earth, the Sierra Club recognizes that both wild and inhabited places are threatened by human-caused climate change. We are dedicated to curbing as much as possible the catastrophic effect of the climate crisis and progressing to a 100% renewable energy future. Trees are part of the solution as they contribute to reducing greenhouse gases by taking in carbon dioxide and emitting oxygen. We know that protection and expansion of trees must be a worldwide effort, as carelessness in international commerce has brought devastating insect and disease invasions, devastating our ash trees and other species. The Sierra Club Niagara Group looks forward to cooperating in the tree planting initiative and encouraging Amherst residents of all ages to help plant 1 million trees. Thank you.
It's great to have Ellen back on campus. Now that I've heard the details of Supervisor Kulpa's plan, I realize our 22 trees are a little bit short of the 29. So, Supervisor, you can count on that extra 7 as soon as possible. So what we'd like to do now is just have a ceremonial shovelful for our first tree. And I'd like to invite Ellen and Brian back up. And then there's cider and donuts and warmth right in this building, and you're all invited. So let's go.